The trading station drifted in a slow orbit around a fading red dwarf, its aging metal framework groaning every time a ship latched onto its docks. Captain Jake Torres stepped down from his vessel and into the noisy market ring, his boots echoing sharply against the reinforced plating beneath his feet. The air was thick with overlapping voices, dozens of species haggling, arguing, and bargaining in languages that curled through the air like drifting smoke. Jake ignored it all. He needed supplies badly. The Relentless had survived the last 3 systems on luck and stubborn determination alone. The ongoing war between the Galactic Coalition and the Terran Federation had shattered established trade routes, leaving independent haulers scrambling for whatever resources they could find. Jake pushed deeper into the crowd, feeling eyes track his movement. Humans were still rare this far out, and reputation traveled faster than ships. The rumors always sounded different depending on who told them, but they shared a few consistent themes. Humans were violent. Humans were unpredictable. And worst of all, humans ate everything. That last part wasn't entirely wrong, but the galaxy had taken it to absurd extremes. Jake stopped at a supply stall wedged between a weapons vendor and a booth filled with glowing chemical containers. The merchant was a Quillan female, her scaled arms moving swiftly as she organized preserved food canisters. Blue light shimmered across her scales as she worked. "I need protein rations, water recycler parts, and fuel cells," Jake said calmly, resting one arm on the counter. All 6 of the Quillan's eyes snapped toward him, widening in alarm. "All of them?" she whispered, her translator crackling. "Human. I don't sell to predators." Jake exhaled slowly. "I'm just here to trade. I'll pay double the standard rate." "No," she backed away, scales rippling in fear. "They say humans eat anything that moves. That you won't eat unless your food was alive when you caught it." "That's not," Jake started, but the vendor was already retreating, sealing the partition to the back of her stall. He tried again. And again. 4 vendors turned him away without hesitation. By the time he reached the 5th stall, his patience was nearly gone. This one was different. The merchant was a Nyx, barely over 4 feet tall, with large reflective eyes that mirrored the station lights. A trade guild insignia rested on her chest, and notably she didn't run when Jake approached. "You're persistent," she said lightly. "I watched you get rejected 4 times. 5th time's the charm," Jake replied. She studied him carefully. "Maybe. But first I need an answer. Is it true what they say about humans?" Jake leaned against the counter, choosing his words with care. "They say humans are apex predators," the Nyx continued, her voice steady but cautious. "That you conquered your entire world by consuming everything in your path." Jake nodded slowly. "We did dominate our planet's food chain. We're omnivores, we eat plants and animals. But that doesn't make us monsters. It makes us survivors. The Coalition claims humans drove entire species to extinction for sport," she pressed. "That you celebrate the consumption of other creatures. Some humans hunt," Jake admitted. "And yes, we have food festivals. But we also have strict laws protecting endangered species. Most of our food is farmed now, just like many cultures here." He rubbed the back of his neck. "I won't pretend we're perfect. We've done terrible things. But we're trying to be better." The Nyx was silent for a moment. "What's your name?" "Jake Torres." "I'm Pip," she said, extending her small hand. Jake shook it carefully. "So, will you sell to me?" "I will," Pip replied. "But I want something in return." "Name it." "The truth. No politics. No propaganda. Why does the galaxy fear humans so much?" Jake glanced around the marketplace. Dozens of species moved through the aisles, coexisting in fragile balance. "Because we're good at war," he said finally. "We spent thousands of years fighting ourselves. By the time we reached the stars, we'd mastered violence." "And the eating?" Pip asked. "Exaggerated. Mostly," Jake smiled faintly. "We can digest a lot, but we don't eat sapient beings. That line doesn't move." "What about the Kilo system?" Pip asked. "Reports claim humans consumed local life forms." "Non-sapient wildlife," Jake corrected. Coalition propaganda twisted the story. "Prove it." Jake pulled up his datapad, displaying unfiltered reports. Pip read silently, her expression unreadable. "You understand why we're afraid," she said quietly. "Most species evolved beyond predator instincts. Humans carried theirs into space. We did," Jake admitted. "But that same instinct is why we adapt. Why we survive." Pip began gathering supplies as curious onlookers formed nearby. "Is it true?" An insectoid voice clicked. "That humans raise creatures and then eat them?" Jake blinked. "What? No. They showed footage, another voice said. Animals given names. Treated like companions. Those are food animals, Jake said evenly. Non-sapient. Domesticated over thousands of years. But how do you know? Pip asked softly. Jake paused. Because we study them. Because they lack complex cognition. And if that ever changed, we'd stop. Immediately. The crowd murmured uneasily. An elderly Quillen stepped forward, his scales dulled by age and marked with scholarly symbols. Terran history shows a pattern, he said calmly. Humans declaring others non-sapient to justify exploitation. Why wouldn't you do the same to us? The question struck deep. You're right, Jake said after a moment. We've done that to each other. It's one of our greatest failures. And yet you ask for trust? The Quillen asked. No, Jake replied. I ask to be judged by what we do now. He gestured around the station. Every species here has blood in its history. I've wars, purges, expansions. The difference is what we choose to do next. Words are cheap, the Quillen said. They are, Jake agreed. That's why I'm trading instead of raiding. Talking instead of attacking. Some humans are still conquering, someone said. Some are, Jake admitted. I'm not one of them. Pip finished packing the last container. Payment up front. Jake transferred the credits without hesitation. As the crowd dispersed, Pip called out one last question. If you were starving, she asked quietly, and I was the only option, would you eat me? Silence fell. Jake met her gaze. No. You'd die. I'd find another way, he said firmly. That's what humans do. Pip smiled. Maybe humans aren't so frightening after all. Jake grinned. Oh, we're terrifying. Just not how you think. Jake pushed his grav cart toward the docking bay, aware of the lingering stares behind him. Fear hadn't vanished, but something else had taken root, curiosity. Humans were dangerous, yes, but not mindless. And in a galaxy built on survival, that distinction mattered.